Recently, Sennheiser brought me out to hang out on the set of Roxanne Benjamin's new horror short film, Final Stop. And if you don't know who Roxanne is, you should, and you will. She's a writer, director, and producer, with two of my favorites being segments she wrote and directed for both XX and Southbound. She also has a feature in post-production right now called Body at Brighton Rock. But the shoot was in LA, so I hopped on a plane and shot right over, and once I got there, they were all set up and in the swing of things. That night's shoot was a bus stop scene that they did a great job in creating that sort of eerie, secluded vibe, which they brought in their own streetlight and garbage can for. Very little had to be added in, and it just made the whole thing work great. Same went for the lighting here. The DP bounced one Gemini and used the streetlight practical, and that was it for the main talent. Of course, he did have some big guns kicking in the distance to add some detail to the background as well. Then, on the top of their Fisher dolly was the camera of choice for this project, which was the iPhone. On a big head and dolly, the iPhone looks a little comical, but the image that they were pulling from it looked great. I was really surprised at how cinematic they were able to make the phone look, especially since this is at night. But of course, they are using Filmic Pro for this. There really isn't any other apps that compare to Filmic Pro, so that's no surprise. And if you don't know what that is, check out the links below for some episodes that we've done on the app. But using the app gave them more control over their image and the ability to monitor off an iPad and pull focus off of another device as well using Filmic Remote. But most of their night lived on the dolly, which is something I love to do as well, especially when you're just using it as a tripod. It's so much easier and faster to reposition and get back to shooting since nothing needs to come off. You just roll it in whatever direction, boom up and down, and get your frame. But then they moved on to their bus shots. In this shot, the lead actress is waiting for the bus, then boards. So they get their coverage outside, staying on dolly. Again, mostly just using that bounce and street light with one or two extra lights rigged up in the bus, allowing them to move really fast. But once they got what they needed on the dolly, they jumped off and onto the Movi so they could get some tracking shots moving into the bus with the actress. I have one of these guys lying around now, planning on doing a review for it really soon. But why are they shooting on an iPhone to begin with, and what does Sennheiser have to do with it, given that they're an audio company? Well, the most interesting thing about all of this is that Roxanne is using the Ambio smart headset from Sennheiser to shoot the film, which these things look just like headphones, but they aren't. I mean, they are headphones, but they're a lot cooler than just that. If you look here on the headphones, you see these areas that look like speakers. These are mics on the actual earbuds, the purpose of which is to record 3D sound. Yes, you heard me, the Ambio can record the space that you are in and accurately play it back so that the direction and distance of the sound is true to the living space you recorded it in. So if a sound is by my left ear, that's where you will hear it. Now, I can give you an example, but you have to be wearing headphones to hear it. So pause the video, put on some earbuds or headphones, and then play again, and any will do. That's the other amazing thing about this. You do need these to record it, but not to play it back. So anyone can still hear the full effect of what these things are doing. And here's that example. So again, as the sound moves around, away, and close, you get all of that effect, and this is recording right inside of my iPhone. Nothing special, I just plugged it into the lightning port, opened up the regular old camera app on the phone, and away we go. The reason this is working so well is because your ears are literally holding the mics. They're perfectly placed to receive sounds like we naturally do, in the positions and with the obstructions and reflections of the human head area. On top of that, they're just really great headphones. They sound great and have some excellent additional functionality built in, like live active noise cancellation, which I used on the airplane and it works great. Or you could go the opposite route and use the transparent hearing function, which lets you blend your surrounding sounds with your music, which I also used on the plane. So usually you have to pause the music to hear what the captain is saying over the speakers. I just turned this on and blended those two sounds together and it worked great. And you have this assignable smart slider up here. Plus, of course, you have all the normal functionality you'd expect as well, like volume up and down, start, stop, and accept calls with this button here, and extra functionality that's easy to control with the free app, and an additional built-in mic that lets you take calls and all the rest. And right now this is just for iOS, but there is an Android version coming very soon. But again, by far the coolest thing about the Ambio is the 3D sound recording, which I've been using to collect different ambience tracks. So I just go to a location and record, and you have this ambience track that feels alive. For instance,
remember to grab your receipt. Thanks. See you again soon.
Can't really show a video there because I'm not trying to get sued. But back to the film, the reason I think Roxanne's decision to make this horror film with the Ambio is so genius is because horror is so dependent on sound already. Some of the most frightening moments in horror are all enabled by sound. So using 3D sound in this way just sounds truly terrifying. But at the end of the night, they did their coolest setup, which was this poor man's process for an interior bus shot that is supposed to be moving, but also has a visual effects component to it. So they set up their blue screen, then a few stands that had speed rails at the top so they could mount lights to it, then spin it, which gave the illusion that the bus was passing streetlights. Then a few crew members shook the bus from the outside and they have their moving bus shot. Incredibly simple and really effective. I always love seeing such simple techniques being used on larger productions like this. It just goes to show that creativity always trumps everything else. Domain.com has all your website needs, including .com and .net domain names and intuitive website builders to take the first steps in creating your identity online. Domain.com is affordable, reliable, and has the tools that you need to build your website and start sharing your ideas with the world. No domain extension is going to help you tell your story like a .com or .net domain name. If you want to brand yourself online, Domain.com has over 300 domain name extensions to fit your needs from .club to .space. And of course, the good people at Domain.com are giving you 15% off their already affordable prices when you get domain names, web hosting, and email. Just use the coupon code FilmRiot at Domain.com's checkout. When you think domain names, think Domain.com. Logo. But that's it for today. Again, a big thank you to Sennheiser and Roxanne for letting me come out. I'm a big fan of Roxanne's work, so it was great to see her in action and really inspiring to see how well she managed her cast and crew, always keeping a fun and pleasant attitude going on set without disrupting any flow. She's a great director, and I really can't wait to see this short film and her first feature. Be sure to check the links below to find links for Roxanne online and links to check out the Ambio Smart Headset. And until next time, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.